Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Kelly. This is a life well spent, and on this channel I'm documenting my financial journey. So I will share things with you like my household budget, and I will do kind of, a video that shows you what my plan is, and then a video that shows how well I stuck to that plan. Sometimes, like this month, spoiler alert, not so good sticking to it. No, not at all. I am 41 years old. I own my own house. I live in kind of a rural Pennsylvania kind of area, and we're going to get into the video. It is a wrap up of my budget. Now, one thing that is kind of important to remember here in that I've way overspent on this budget, like completely way overspent on this budget. And part of the reason for that is a situation that happened towards the end of July. And if you've been watching some of my videos, you know a little bit about that story. And I'm going to try to give you the short version. My father, gosh, it'll be 3 years in November now, fell down the stairs and broke his neck. And in the process, he had a number of other medical complications that culminated in a stroke. And that's kept him from getting any kind of like rehab care where he could be any bit independent. And so he's not quite like completely paralyzed. He has a little bit of movement on his left side, but he really can't do anything for himself and requires, pretty intensive care, and pretty round the clock care. So he, it's really weird noise outside. Um, So he has a caregiver who comes in the evening, and a caregiver, who stays overnight, and a caregiver that comes in the morning while my mother is at work. And we'd had a little bit of trouble this summer getting caregivers. It's not difficult to care for him. It is difficult to turn him. He has to be moved every couple of hours, because if you don't, newsflash, if you don't know this, your skin will start to break down, and it can like open, there can be sores, and I mean, you can die from it pretty easily. Because you've like this gaping open wound that can easily get infected. And so, at first we thought this caregiver like maybe just didn't really understand like the importance of, making sure he's turning and things like that. But he was giving kind of neglectful care, but we were kind of giving him the benefit of the doubt, like maybe he just never really took care of somebody with this much need. Um, and, my mom has cameras in her house, mostly because my father is completely incapable of, um, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? He's completely incapable of advocating for himself. He cannot defend himself either. So my mother has cameras on, and any new caregiver gets, she'll peek in on the cameras, and, they'll record movement and things like that so that she can be sure that, my father's in good hands. So, she noticed on the cameras, like she would come home and see things, and she would question the caregiver about it, and he would tell her something that just wasn't sitting right with her. She's a nurse. So she kind of knows what some things should look like. Like he would claim that he bathed my dad, but my dad would be in the same clothes. And there would be nothing in the washer, that had, washer or dryer that would indicate that like any bathing took place, like no washcloths, no towels, no nothing. So then my mom started looking at the cameras, and just to kind of see what he is doing with my dad. And she noticed a couple of really disturbing things, which included him straight up abusing my dad. So we had to get rid of that guy, obviously. But we couldn't initially because my mother didn't have any caregivers. And so I had to stay with my dad just to kind of keep an eye on the caregiver and make sure that like he wasn't doing anything he shouldn't be doing. And then my mom, in, the shuffle of trying to get caregivers, like I had to stay and take care of my dad. And I don't mind doing that, certainly not a problem, but it made it difficult for me to like actually really sit down and think about my budget and what I was going to be doing. And like there are things that I know I do in August, and I just never even considered them. Like I was in such a rush at the end of July to get my budget done. Like I just didn't even think about them. And so now my budget this month is absolutely all over the place. So that's the bad news. The really bad news. You will not even believe how badly I botched this budget. So I think you can probably see some of it right now on my screen, but we will continue. One of the things that I super botched in an unbelievably stupid way I know that every August, I stock up, and like I work in a school district. So, when we go back to school, I have an office space and I always go and I stock up on, snack kind of things for my office space in the event that I get a little peckish or whatever. And I always stock up on like tea and some extra sugar because I keep a kettle in my office. Um, and yeah, I completely forgot about that. Like, completely forgot that I was going to do that. And I usually end up spending like a couple $100 doing that. And I also like to stock up on a lot of different foods so they don't have to take the time to like go to the grocery store at the beginning of a school year, because it is a crazy time. If you don't know a teacher, talk to a teacher sometime. The first like month and a half of school is just bonkers crazy. And it's even worse this year because right now the Delta variant isn't really like killing our area right now, but I knew that in going back to school, it was going to explode like that. So I knew that I was going to want to stock up on things. And when I made my budget plan, I didn't even think about it. Like, it never occurred to me. It was occurring to me all summer, but when it came down to like actually come up with my plan, didn't occur to me. So my grocery budget is like bonkers out of control because I was stocking up on a lot of things so that I was not really gonna have to spend much time in a store. Like, I would go in and like get some fresh produce if I needed, and that's that. So forgot about that. Like a clown. The upside is I have some good news, and I went to or in the budget video for September I talked about this. So if you've watched that, you already know this, but I'll share here briefly. I got a promotion, and with that comes a pay raise. So that's really exciting. So if you look at my actual income, I budgeted $2,905.60 because that's typically what I make in 2 paychecks. I do get paid I get paid biweekly. So I get 26 pays in a year. I budget off of the 2 pays. I budget my life anyway off the 2 pays. So last July was actually a 3 pay month. So I won't have a 3 pay month for a while now. I think the next one maybe is December. But my actual income from my day job was $3,402.40, which is exciting. It's actually going to be a little bit more than that next month, and I'll explain why. So I have to sit here and eat crow for a little bit, which I'm kind of okay with. I had been saying again and again and again that, and I just finished back a program to get a different certification that allows me to get a different job, which is a promotion, comes with a pay raise, all that kind of stuff. But I thought that there was no room for that kind of position in my district. And so I thought that for sure I was going to have to move on and go somewhere else. And I even had like money in my budget to like move because I anticipated the possibility of like moving somewhere across the state and, having to kind of, start over and do all of that. And so I don't even know what I'm going to do with that money now. I gotta figure something out. I may just keep it. As like an emergency savings or something. I don't know. Anyway, so I was able to actually get a promotion in my district. So I got to eat crow and I'm fine with it. But yeah, so that's the budget for this month, or my actual income for this month is the 3,400, but it's actually more. Because what happened is I got paid the first pay under my regular job title. And then by the time the second pay came around, I had gotten the promotion. So that's why the difference is like next month when I get both of the right pays, it will be more. So, $291 came from my mom. And if you've been watching my videos, you know that that's, my parents and I had a deal when I went to school that they would pay for my, college loan. So that's $200 is the actual payment for that. We split a cell phone package and we split like an internet television package. And my mother also gives me $50 a month to put towards a brokerage account for my niece. Miscellaneous extra income. I returned something from some items. Actually, it was $50.60 from my shopping trip in July. Did I do that in July or was that early August? I don't even know. This month is just gone. $10 giving, which is typical. I put the rest in a giving fund so that if opportunities come up, I have the money there. $676.03 is my mortgage payment. Electric 47.45, which is actually pretty great considering I actually ran the air conditioner last month. I try not to because I really don't like it. It like hurts my bones. And I don't know if it's just the type of air conditioner I have, but even when like the couple of weeks I had to stay at my parents' at the end of July, like my hands wake up and they like I'm aching. When my hands just are stiff and achy and I hate it. And they have central air. Hate it. Hate air conditioning. To be in it for a long time, I should say. Like when it's really hot out and you walk into air conditioning, it's nice, but like I don't love it long term. And it's not even a cold thing. It's an air conditioner. It's like it's a artificial cold thing. That's the problem. I don't mind being cold. I love being cold. I love this winter. I love skiing. I like hiking in the winter. Like I don't mind that at all. Natural gas, $26.57. Sewer, that's $58. Water, $18.97. That's technically a flat rate. Like it's based on usage, but that's the minimum rate, and I hardly ever go over the usage. Internet, $145.47. That actually is my internet and television, and we keep that, and it is as high as it is because I need the streaming package that we have because I do most of my watching over streaming. And we keep television because it has one channel that my dad really likes, and because, well, I've explained his situation, and we just suck it up. $67.30, I budgeted, or $67.30 is what I spent on my cell phone, which is actually a little under than what I budgeted because I wasn't sure how bad that was going to be in July with all of my travel. Groceries, I budgeted $300 and it came in at $886.97. That said, $250 or so of that is, oh, I remember what I returned. That was not clothes. Hang on. $250 that was about my mother stuff that I bought for my parents. She has yet to reimburse me. So it's not nearly quite as bad as that. $50 of that, this extra $50.60. I went to Sam's and I bought some stuff for my lawn, which again is one of those things that like I don't need it right now and I didn't need it right now, and typically I would wait, but I don't want to have to go into Sam's in 3-4 weeks for it because Delta is going to be running rampant and I don't want to go into a store. So I just went ahead and bought it now. I'll put it on my lawn when it needs. It's like a winterizer thing. But anyway, in the process of buying one, I somehow accidentally bought two. So I went and, got refunded for it. So really that should be more like $886 and $250 minus that too. So it's still over. It's not great. It's not as bad as it looks. Life insurance, $7.50. Gas, I only spent $74.66. So woo, came under on something. 99 cents for my mother's iCloud account. I should just budget that in because I don't. And we keep thinking that we're going to change it and we keep forgetting. $100 went to a brokerage account for my niece. I pay $50. My mother pays $50. Let me see, house and garden, I budgeted $50 and I spent $357.50. I got a bunch of stuff from Amazon is what it comes down to. And in some cases, things that like I had been wanting, I bought a bunch of storage bins because I really needed to do some organization stuff in my kitchen. And yeah, couple of different things that I wanted from Amazon that I did not feel like waiting for like Prime days and stuff like that. Let's see, restaurant, $203.16. That was nuts. It was a lot of eating out. Way too much eating out. I don't really know what else to say about it. Personal, $643.70. Like it wasn't bad enough. That included some stuff from shopping, but went on a shopping trip and got some things. Miscellaneous, $265.85. A whole bunch of more stuff. And $500 to my Roth IRA. I spent $200. That's my payment to my student loans. And out of my emergency fund, you know what? We'll take this one last. Out of my sinking funds, $24.21 went to my escrow, $25 to my giving fund, and $275 to my car insurance because I had to pay my car insurance. Um, and with that, yeah, so that was a car insurance month, so $275. I actually end up like I still kind of have a lot in there, and I'm wondering if I maybe should just cut back on how much I put in there. I don't know. I may end up with a second car here soon. I need to keep the miles on my car low. We'll see. We'll see. It's not killing me. If I need to move it over to like my giving fund or my gifts fund or something, I suppose I can do that. Um, I put $50 into my car repair fund. I did not spend anything out of it, so it's has currently $426.15 in it. I put $100 in my house fund, and that's really actually this is more for like house repairs, not like just stuff I want to buy for my house. Um, and so I didn't spend anything on that, but I know that I will need it for, I'm actually going to get my gutters cleaned again. So I'll need it to get my gutters cleaned. I will need it to, probably sometime, not this coming month, but next month in October. I always get my furnace serviced at the, kind of like mid fall ish, about the time I'm going to want to turn it on, because the thing is 30 some years old. So I baby her a little bit, so she makes it a little bit longer. Um, so it'll pay for stuff like that. Knitting Lion Club, I actually pay that. I put $16 in. It's $200 a year, and so I just put a little bit aside every month, so that I'm ready to pay that in December. It currently has $136 in it. Garbage fund, same thing. I pay that once a year, and that's $15 a month, for a total of $110.05. My giving fund, I put $75 in, but I actually paid $25 out. So $10 went to, I think it's Fair Fight that comes out of my giving fund. And I did an Arbor Day survey. And if you donated $15, you got like a whole bunch of trees get sent to you. And I thought, that's actually kind of cool. So I'm going to do that. And yeah, I can give $15 for more trees. That's great. So the total I have right now in my giving fund is $374.50. I put $59 in my car insurance fund. So that's something that, again, I do every month. I pay it every 6 months. So I just collect the money. It's cheaper to pay it by 6 months, at least where I live. I don't know if that's the same for everybody. I would assume, but so $275 is spent on that. And my car insurance actually went up a little bit. I thought it went down, but I looked at my previous payment and I was like, wait a minute. That's okay. It is what it is. I'm fine with it. I probably could honestly pay less. And I was looking, I know that I switched my homeowner's insurance, and I was looking at bundling with the people that I have my homeowner's insurance, but I feel terrible. She's called me several times, but between like everything going on with my dad, like I had no time to do this at the beginning of the month, and now school has started and I have even less time or energy. So I currently have $293 left in that account. Put $50 in a gift fund, and there's $138.35 in that account. So my gift fund technically isn't necessarily going to be Christmas, but like I kind of only buy Christmas gifts, or like a birthday gift for my niece or something. So I might consider upping that in future months, just so that there's more money in there. Maybe I should just set some Christmas money aside. I don't usually go too hog wild. I kind of use like what I made in my extra job, although I don't have an extra job anymore. So now that I think about it, I should probably just set some money aside. Maybe I will do that in September's budget with the money I've got left over at the end. So anyway, I have in here a cushion, which was money that was being spent on something else, and then I no longer had to spend the money. So I just thought I'd leave it in there in case like there's an overage anywhere, or something comes up that I wasn't really expecting, and I could pull it from there. I have a student loan fund, where I had hoped to put $177.75 in, but I put nothing in at all. Because as you can see, my total expenses, $4,000. I overspent my income this month. I don't think I have ever done that since I started tracking and budgeting. So, yikes. By $1,600. I still don't even quite know how that happened, but it did. Yikes. So suffice it to say, there was quite a deficit in there. And yeah, so nothing went into the student loan fund. I budget whatever's left in my budget. And then, so what, oh, actually, let me back up. What this fund is, I am trying to save up money to be able to pay off my student loans in the event that student loan forgiveness does not happen. I have about $13,000, a little over $13,000 in student loans. So I'm hoping to get up to that amount. I have about a little bit over half of that saved. And I'm going to probably wait it out like one more election cycle. We'll see how the midterms go and see what happens there. I think that if Democrats gain more seats and they don't lose the House, I think that it can happen. If they don't gain any seats in the Senate or they lose the House or both, then it's definitely not going to happen. And I think I should just focus on paying it off. Yeah. It's unfortunate, but that's life, I guess. I know for me, like, this is my luck. The day I pay it off, then, like, if I pay it off, let's say it's Thursday today, if I pay them off on Friday, the administration will announce on Saturday that, like, oh, everyone's is going to be canceled. That's just how it is. So, c'est la vie. So I didn't put any more into that this month because there was none to put in. And that leaves me with $6,949.57 in that account. I also have a mattress/bed fund because I very much need a bed and I need a new mattress upstairs. The one that I have is so unbelievably uncomfortable. And I absolutely hate it. So I put money aside a while ago to kind of save up for that. I need to go down to IKEA whenever they have thing in stock. And I've been kind of making do downstairs. I've been trying to make do downstairs, mostly because I thought, dear God, I do not want to, like, I didn't want to buy a bed, put it together, and then have to, like, take it apart and move again. So I think now that I have the job that I have, I expect to be in it a couple of years. I don't know that I expect to move away at all. But you also kind of don't really know whatever opportunities are going to come in, but I would anticipate I will stay here at least as long as the person who promoted me is still my boss. I love working for her, but she's retiring in a couple of years, so we'll see. Okay, moving on. So I think actually with that, I think at some point, it's just I'm gonna make an IKEA trip. I'm just gonna bite the bullet and do it, but it's again a matter of finding time and energy where I'm at. So with pandemic, I might wait until things calm down again, so we'll see. But as of right now, like I said, it's sitting in my sinking funds and it's just waiting to be used. So back up to this jobby. $1,391.52. So this is money that I had to put into my account, into my checking account, because I had combination overspent and also had to change the starting amount in this checking account. So I don't know how anybody else does this. Comment below and let me know like how you manage the amount of money in your checking account. For me, it makes the most sense to kind of put or keep in my checking account 1 full month's income. And I understand that some people, to actually have that much to just keep there, might take them a couple months to build that up, right? I get that. And for others, not a big deal, and they're just like, oh, I don't care, it goes in and out and whatever. But for me, it makes the most sense. Like, I don't want to have to sit and chase down bills. Like, I like to pay almost everything that gets paid in the first week. I think my mother's iCloud thing comes in at the end of the month, which shouldn't be there, but everything else, by the end of the first week of the month, every bill has been paid. And I prefer it that way because I don't like, that's the only time I then have to think about it. And I only then have to worry about what I'm spending where. So in order to do that, because I never want to play the game of like, oh, can I pay this bill right now? Like, do I have enough money until I get paid again? And this and that, like that drives me nuts. But I also don't want to keep like a bunch of extra money in my checking account because it's, it's not earning anything for me. I'd rather keep that in my savings, but I also don't want to have to like keep transferring back and forth. Like that's just, I don't want to do that. So what I do is I keep a month's income in there. And by month's income, I mean by my like 2 paychecks worth. So if it's a 3 paycheck month, whatever, I get more. And I keep that in there. So if I get to the end of the month, if I get to the end of July, or, which is normally what happens, I get to the end of the month and there's a little bit extra money, because I haven't spent everything that I've budgeted, I take that money and I move it into my savings account, so that, like, if I have $3,600 in my checking account at the end of the month, I take $600, move it into my savings account. I will track it here. Most likely it goes into my, student loan fund, unless there's something else I'm trying to save up for as well. That's where the money goes. That's where it stays. Bada bing, bada boom. The next thing that I would do, is, so I like to start the month there, because then all the bills come out in the first month. And I kind of set up my life so that all of my bills can get paid with one paycheck, in my one paycheck a month. So usually, like, within the first or second week of the month, like, all the bills have gotten paid, and then either the end of the first week or the end of the second week, the money has gone back in there. It's like basically just my paycheck is like just replenishing what I've spent, so that it stays at 3,000 all the time. So because I overspent, that did not happen. And I want to say I maybe was at like 2,400 or something. So I needed to put the $600 in to get to the 3,000 that is typically there. However, and you'll see this on my budget video for September, with my raise comes a substantial amount of money more that becomes my new equilibrium. So I had to kind of make up for that as well. So that's why it's this like huge chunk of money that looks like it's come out of this fund, but some of it was really more just I needed to put the money there so I had like the month's pay correctly. And I feel like, yeah, I want to say it was about 600 of that, and 700 of it is like making sure that there's extra money, because my paychecks now are going to be $1,865.95. I'm pretty excited about. And I am going to 1,865.95, right? So 1,865.95 times 2 is $3,731.90. So I had to make up the deficit first. And then I thought I was just going to do that. And I realized, wait a minute, no, my new monthly income is going to be different. Like, so I got to put that in there too. So, I mean, realistically, I could have just not taken it out at the end of September when I got to the end of the month, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to have it like set, ready to go. So that's that. Pretty excited to be making that income. That's actually not, it's not my proper income. And I explained this a little bit in my September budget video. It is a combination of like what my regular pay is going to be, plus they gave me back pay for like the contract itself was going to start July 1st, but I didn't get hired to do it until like mid-August. So they gave me the back pay for all of that, but rather than giving it to me in one giant lump sum, they're splitting it out over the rest of the pays, which I think is over 20 pays. So that's actually not, that's just what I'm going to make for this year, but that's not what I'm going to make next year. I will get a little bit of a raise, but it will probably look like I'm making less or it probably will look like I'm not really getting a raise, or maybe making slightly less because it's going to be, the proper pay. So, c'est la vie. I'm not really worried about it, but that's what I have to work with right now, which is really exciting. It was actually 2 whole pays that they owed me. And then the difference between 2 pays that I had earned in my other position that I would now be making more in. So they, gave me the difference and spread all that out. So it's fantastic and I love it and I'm psyched. Love the job. Love what I do. Super psyched about it. So, with that in mind, that's why this looks as that. It's not as bad as that looks at any rate. However, that does really shift some things around. And that does not take away the fact that I just went a little nuts this month. And again, like the thing that bothers me is that it was things that I knew I was going to do because I always do. And I knew I was going to purchase because I was planning to, but I just didn't plan for it in my budget because I just wasn't thinking. It was way too rushed. So sometimes you have those. Oh well. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I will see you in the next video, which should be a spending tracking video at the end of the first week of September.